Hey everybody, so it's been a while. I'm not going to go into why I've been away or what I've been doing or anything like that. I wanted to focus really on the topic of targeting and the answers as to what's going on and how they're able to target us. There's been a long time that I haven't actually looked into the topic, and then I came across a video that YouTube suggested to me. It gave me all the answers that I needed, and so I thought I'd just come back to tell you about the videos that I've seen that help to answer how we're targeted, how they track us, how it's all been done. And so I'm going to try and keep this quick and brief, but I'm going to put in clips of the videos. But I suggest that you go and watch these documentaries all individually. I'm going to list them in the link in the description box below. So go and watch the longer versions, because there's a lot more information in there that I haven't divulged to you today. But I want to get into how they target us and how targeting is achieved. So what they do is they put nanotechnology in our food, and we ingest that, and it goes into our bodies and into our bloodstreams and goes into our organs, and it fills our whole bodies. And from there, they're able to monitor us and monitor our bodies. And nanotechnology has been put into our food since 1970s, apparently. So what they do, they put the nanotechnology in our food, and then we consume the nanotechnology.
Nanotechnology is a term that gets bandied around a fair bit. The promise of longer-lasting bread, super low-salt soy sauce, even Kraft Foods' interest in a smart blob that can be made to taste like anything using nanotechnology have all been part of the highly speculative future of Nano Foods.
But what about here and now? How many of these foods already have nanoparticles in them? And what do we know about the harm they might cause? Well, the answer to both questions is we don't actually know.
Without any doubt at all, there are nanomaterials in food contact materials, and in agriculture already available in Australia. Foods to which children are exposed, such as Mentos, donuts, M&Ms, and Cadbury's chocolate, we have no idea what is on the market here, and we have no idea what their impacts are. And it is our regulators that are responsible for tracking that and regulating that, and they're just not doing it.
And you can see in this graph here that the nanoparticular matter was first started to work on in 1959 all the way through 2010. Moore's law says that computer technology will double every year, and that's been proven year after year, and this is also applicable to nanotechnology. Despite being the first referred to nearly 40 years ago, the word of nanotechnology, particularly in relation to food, is still a long way from being part of mainstream discussion. That's why it's so important to get this out right now.
Now, how they track people is they get nanodust, which they cover using the planes. They use nanodust to cover all areas. So they cover, like, as far as I'm aware, like not just in this country but all over the world, they've been using planes to drop nanodust particles everywhere. So nanodust now covers everything around us, and so they use that to track us. I'll show you a little clip which explains as to how they can do this, how they can track our movements, and they know it's us because of the nano crystals that we have inside our bodies that are also like GPS trackers, and they track us everywhere we go.
Chip, and that's a salt crystal. So this is a small thing. It's something called the Mu chip from Hitachi. It's the smallest commercially available RFID system in the world, and can be pulse powered by radio waves. It doesn't require a battery. You can literally scatter this stuff like dust or embed it into a sheet of paper. And you know what the really interesting thing about this technology is? This was commercially released 10 years ago. So the inevitability of smart dust. So what is smart dust? Well, smart dust, of course, isn't a new concept. It originated with DARPA back in the 90s. And it's general purpose computing, sensors, wireless networking, all bundled up into millimeter scale sensor modes, drifting in the air currents, flecks of computing power settling on your skin, ingested, monitoring you inside and out.
But in the future, every square inch of every city will be alive with intelligence. Because every street and every building will have a network of microcomputers built right into them. Dr. Chris Piester calls it smart dust.
A smart dust particle, or mote, is a wireless sensor with sensing, computation, communication, and power in one package.
These all-in-one microcomputers will be small, very small.
The size of a mote today is about the size of a grain of rice. And we've shown that we can make the circuitry small enough and light enough that eventually it will be possible to make things that are on a sub-millimeter size scale.
Tiny specks of computer smart dust will form a vast invisible network that can help manage the infrastructure of even the largest city.
Smart cities in the future will take this low-power, inexpensive, small technology and basically distribute it everywhere.
These tiny computers record information about their surroundings, information they can send to other computers or to you. Smart dust on the tracks will monitor your commuter train so you know if it's running late. Potholes will be able to report themselves and warn your car, and you'll never have to wait for a radio traffic report again.
They're monitoring the flow of traffic and giving you alerts about what route is the right way to go to keep the traffic moving.
Bridges will get a coating of smart dust particles that can warn us when they detect stress fractures, helping avoid deadly collapses. But smart dust will also allow buildings and streets to recognize you and respond accordingly.
I think increasingly the environment will respond to who we are and adapt in consequence.
The city will know where you are if you want it to.
Your workplace will know you. Smart dust at the entrance will boot up your computer. And smart dust embedded in the elevator doors will automatically ring your floor.
Smart dust is going to sense the environment and allow us to improve the way that we live our lives.
So with the two combined, you have the nano crystals or nano dots or nanotechnology in our bodies, and then you have the nano dust, which is also in our bodies because we breathe it in through the air when the planes are dropping their chemtrails onto the environment. Also included in there is the Morgellons. So Morgellons dust or fibers are also included in the chemtrails that they're dropping on our planet. And so we ingest those things, we eat it, we consume it in our water, we absorb it from the air, it gets on all of our bodies, it can track us, it can tell them who we are, it can track our information, all our information, it can tell them how we're feeling, it can allow them to alter our bodies, our thinking, because it goes and forms part of our brains, every part of our body it forms part of. So that allows them to manipulate us internally.
Look, as I promised, I'm analyzing what we have in our air. This is a sample that I brought, and this is what we have on the screen. And my friend is going to tell me now a little bit more about what it is that we're looking at, and he's also going to send me some pictures of what we're looking at right at this moment. So pay attention, and you guys will learn something new today.
You other stuff.
So apparently this actually is artificial life, and it's able to grow.
They call that the nanotechnology.
Nanotechnology, imagine that.
Smart dust. This side you can see. What's happening here is what is inside, like this. This is from inside coming out.
Okay.
And it's nothing to do with the roots. Is more the matter is changing.
Okay.
That's a small one. This is on the Morgellon group.
Morgellon?
Yeah, Morgellon. Look at it.
I've been starting to hear a lot of things about this thing, Morgellons.
Yeah, that's what it is right now.
Is that moving on its own?
Oh yeah, he's moving on his own. I do nothing. And look, you need the S.
Oh yeah, there he goes. So, and this is in the dust around us?
Yes. And that when you breathe that. That's why everybody has that inside their body. And that doesn't eat like we do. It's like, he's a snake.
Oh, Jesus.
Dress as an S.
It's a
It's very scary, those stuff, you know.
Oh gosh.
So all the things I've been claiming about in terms of them being able to manipulate us, to control our thoughts, to direct us, to like put forces on us, that's how they do all of those things. Also, like the Morgellons is another aspect of it. The Morgellons are living fibers. They're living fibers that can multiply within our bodies, and once they've overrun our bodies, specifically for people who have very high acidity, because that's the environment they like to grow in. Once they've overrun our bodies, we are practically technology. We can be manipulated in any which way possible. And they use this to manipulate most people. And this is how I believe the Mandela Effect happens. The Mandela Effect, for those of you who don't know, is when something has happened and people have a perception that it happened one way, or it seems as if, I don't know how to explain it, it's very difficult to explain, but it makes it seem as if, so it's like you have a memory of something happening, and the reality of it is different from what the memory that you have, but you believe the memory of it is true. So it's as if time has been altered, or a moment in time has been altered, and they can do this mass altering of time or thoughts or of events through this mind control technology that they have. And so this is very all encompassing. And now on top of this, like I've talked about witchcraft and demonic possession and all these other things. These are just smaller scales of what they do. This is how they operate. This is the kind of mentality and the practices that they adopt to inflict their mind control. So all of those practices, like all the spirituality stuff as well, is them like having an effect on our bodies, on our minds, trying to manipulate our realities with what we call spiritual, but it's more so it's the methods they use to control us and to affect us and to infiltrate our lives and to manipulate our lives as well. So really that's how most of it's done. And so it's really through the nanotechnology, the Morgellons fibers that replicate themselves, and through nanodust. These are three of the main ways that they are using to mind control each individual. Now, regardless whether medication works and helps you to stop hearing voices or not, you're still under mind control. So for those of you who consider yourself to be targeted individuals, you are a targeted individual. Now, I believe with targeted individuals, we either become able to hear what's going on, or they turn on the system for us. So they allow us to see what they can actually do. So they target an individual, and everybody is a targeted individual as far as I'm concerned, because everybody has all of these fibers inside their bodies. But they switch it on for individuals that they selected to be targeted individuals, specific targeted individuals who know about what's going on and who feel like they're being stalked and who feel like they're being harassed, who feel like their body's been manipulated. These are the individuals that they turn on the system for. So they know who specifically this is, and they do this as an experiment. And there's many different reasons why they do this, but mostly it's done as an experiment. They want to experiment on the population and see how they can affect an individual, the consequences of doing what they do, and seeing how they can affect the individuals to stop doing certain things, to start doing certain things, to behave a certain way, to change their character. It's all experiments that they're doing on individuals. Now, they've done it all before, so those people who claim that why would they select individuals to do this, they did this all before in the MK Ultra trials. So this is nothing new. This is something that they've done before. And so for people who think it wouldn't happen just because they don't think that an individual would be selected for these things, because they always say, oh, why are you so important? It doesn't matter who the person is. It just matters that they're part of the trial. And so they've done it all before in the MK Ultra trials. And if you don't believe in that, then go and have a look in that. You'll find that that's all very documented. And it was the government had I think it was a church, one of the churches of America, looked into it and found that there was actually mind control happening, and all the files were destroyed. So if you don't believe in that, go and look into my MK Ultra programs or MK Ultra and find out for yourself. But this is how it's all been done. So unless anybody has any questions on this, I think like that rounds up to me really what's going on. And if you want to know who is involved in all of this, you have to look at the transhumanist agenda. All those people who are involved in transhumanism, you have to look at the air forces, as I always claim, the military, the biological institutions. All of these people are involved in this process, and they've been doing this since World War I. So it's been a long time coming, and they've been doing it so it's been ages. Now, I personally believe that this goes further back than anything that has been recorded. I think it's an ancient thing. And how they were doing it back in the ancient days, I don't know, like in Jesus' time and other things like that, I don't know. But you could see with all this technology that they have in the air that we can't see and in our bodies, how they could cause miracles to happen or effects to happen that we are not aware of. So really, it's hard to believe anything, because they could achieve anything with the technology that they have. They can create any kind of illusions. They can create any kind of mass illusions. They can create any kind of miracles, or they can do anything they want with this type of technology. And it's down to us to believe it or not to believe it. So again, it's like, you have to be very skeptical about your reality when you're aware that these things are happening. But anyway, I hope that explains it in brief. But if anybody needs a further deeper explanation, because I don't think I did a good enough job on this, I think I could have paid it more justice. But I just had to record because I saw watched these videos the other day, and I wanted to come back to you. And normally if I do it, the instant that I have the compulsion to make a video, if I don't do it immediately, I kind of lose track of what I wanted to say and how I wanted to deliver the video. So I've kind of waited a few days, so I've kind of lost that side track of what I wanted to say and how I wanted to deliver the video. So I haven't quite got the emphasis that I wanted to put on it. But yeah, this is pretty much answers most of the questions that I had personally. So hopefully it will answer the questions for you as targeted individuals out there, and just for anybody watching. But I would advise you to go watch these videos over, because they're very important to watch, and also watch them all the way through, because also that's very important. And if you have any questions based after watching all these videos, you can throw them at me, but obviously I might not have all the answers, but it would be something I could look into. So yeah, but I hope all of you are well out there. Yeah, and as I was saying, even if the medication works, I'm on medication for my symptoms. It's worked partly, but at the same time, I still hear voices. I still hear them. So it hasn't completely worked. So I would say to any individual out there, even to try the medication. If it works for you, then that's good. If it doesn't work for you, then you know, you tried your best. But it doesn't mean that you're not a targeted individual. You're still a targeted individual, no matter what works and what doesn't work. It just means that something affects the technology that they have in your body and something doesn't. So that's all I'd have to say on that matter. Hi all, I just wanted to add to the video that as you know, I complained a lot about possession and stuff like that, and I always wondered how would they be able to make possession possible. And this researcher, he references it in his video.
But the most interesting thing from this paper is that he said that they spent 10 billion US and half a year to optimize the cluster topology. And this is something, it sounds just like science fiction if you say it like this, but if you really think about it, if it is only about infecting humans with a virus-like synthetic RNA, you could give a damn about cluster topology. Cluster topology starts to become an interesting topic if this RNA cluster is supposed to carry a soul. Only then a soul or an artificial intelligence or whatever, an RNA. This is kind of the first time that I had an input, an idea of how do they turn people into biorobots. You have the RNA cluster within the air, sprayed in the air with a defined distance from RNA to RNA. And within the human body, the same RNA cluster is prolonged within the cells. And now, whatever is carried by these clusters, the artificial intelligence or a program or a soul, whatever this is, can travel from the dust into the human being.
This is smart dust.
And this is what they call smart dust. And now, this is all kind of grabbed theory. If you take the Morgellon topic is, you find it described as a transhumanistic technology to extract light from the human body, turn it into a radio signal to read out what happens within the human, and opposite way to insert light, not radio frequency, to the human to make him feel whatever you want to make him feel. Also, for those of you who have people who doubt you when you explain
to explain targeting to them, have them look up Dr. Robert Duncan. Have them look up Dr. Robert Duncan and look at his videos, because those are very interesting as well. I will, like, there was a video that I seen being done about me on Scare Theatre, I think it's called. Now, I know a lot of people came to my channel because of that and have been commenting on my videos. For them, I have a response video that I will be making and I'm putting out there, so they can go and watch that video if that's what interests them. But yeah, there's a lot of information out there, so please do not feel like you are mad, or you can't explain it to anybody, or people won't believe you. There's so much information out there now that it makes it hard not to be able to connect the dots and not get your answer. So I would advise you to go look at Dr. Duncan, Robert Duncan, and I'll put his video in the description below. There's a very interesting video of him interviewing a targeted individual, and he's explained to him how all of the things that happened to him is done.
The government's legal system is just mincing words, and they're literally trying to define torture as nothing. I mean, anything you do to a human being is not torture. It's really, it is insane what our government is doing. And so I'm here to validate that you are a real TI and that this is happening to at least 2,000 people in the United States.
Wow, at least 2,000 people.
Yeah.
Now, if you can explain to the people what we're complaining about. A lot of us are complaining about not just hearing voices, but the pain. But could you explain how we're capable of hearing voices in our head that other people can't hear?
Yeah, yes, and this is very complex, and there are actually several technologies. There are at least 4 different technologies that can pipe voices into the human head that only that person will hear. But the one that is most complicated has to do with EEG heterodyning and remapping the audio cortex of the human brain that is subjected to it. But to feel physical pain, it's, again, a mapping, a cloning, if you will, of another person's brainwaves onto yours.
And so that, again, I will link in the description box. So do go do your research, and if you want to explain it to anybody, or if you, for yourself, want to further understand what's going on. But this stuff is very old. It's been around for a long time. So anyway, that's all I really wanted to add. But anyway, I hope all of you are well. Take care of yourselves. Hopefully I will be back with another video, but I can't tell you when and where. It will just have to come by ear. This all really depends if I find any more information on the topic. So I'll see you all soon. Take care, people. Bye.